Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today we're going to do some spa on Assetto Corsa Competizione. Hopefully you can hear me pretty well. The last few times I've tried to record Assetto Corsa Competizione, it has not given me very good sound. It's been drowned out by the amazing car sound. So, alright, let's do this on Spa. Hopefully this works out because I'm wanting to do this as a Xbox versus PC version. So after a few laps on the PC, we will switch over to the Series X and we will talk about the different way that the wheel settings and everything feel. So on the PC version, you are like, I almost feel like you can definitely feel what's going on a little better in the settings for sure. I feel like you have just a little bit more control, if that makes sense. Like when you go into a turn like this, you can kind of feel the weight of the car. In the wheel itself, like you can feel it kind of bounce or pull to one side, and you can definitely tell it. I tried this in the rain just a few minutes ago, and I'm like, whoa, man, it has never felt like that before. Like you can feel the hydroplaning and everything else as you're moving. Like, forgive me, I'm actually really new, only like a couple days experience with a wheel setup in the PC on the PC. I finally got it working. I've been trying for the last few months, but I finally got it working, and now I'm able to play all these games and truly experience what it feels like PC versus console. And that's what I want to check for the Xbox Series X version. So we're gonna run this on PC, and then we're gonna run it on Series X, and we're gonna see exactly if we're getting that PC build or not on translation over to our consoles. I can already tell you, like, frame rate wise, being able to, because I'm almost about 100 frames a second on this, whereas on the Xbox we'll be locked theoretically to the 60 FPS or whatever. So that there should definitely account for a little bit of it. I was thinking about locking the PC version to 60, but this here will help me kind of understand a little bit better if it's more just FPS that's changing the experience, or if it has anything to do with how the actual wheel representation feels. So let's get a couple laps on this. We'll definitely see, and we'll kind of go off the times too. We'll look at the times of my laps. This here being my first full-fledged lap on this. We'll talk and we'll look at, you know, how I am with my control and all of that stuff. How smooth it stays throughout through the course of the lap. And I'll try to. Because right here, being steady like this, for the most part, has been pretty effortlessly. Like it's been really, really smooth, actually. So being able to do this is pretty nice. But I feel like I'm fairly smooth on the Xbox too. So that might just be like a placebo effect of a little bit higher frame rate, just making it feel a little bit smoother. Because I want to give you accurate information. I don't want you to rush out and buy and build a PC and buy a sim rig setup. If you can get the same experience, or pretty close to the same experience on the Series X or PS5, I don't want to try to FOMO you into buying a PC just to play your racing games, but the one biggest thing that I have noticed is the higher FPS. The higher FPS really does, in my opinion, seem to make at least everything, the image quality and everything appears smoother. So that there does potentially benefit you to make to give you an overall smoother racing experience. So now that we have our couple of laps on the PC, we will finish this video out on the Xbox Series X, and we'll see what we can do from there. Alright, my friends, we are back with Assetto Corsa Competizione on the Xbox Series X. So let's see how this feels compared to the PC version. Alright, so we're coming up on this first turn, so we will... Man, I feel like there might be... So, alright, let me do something really quick. I think I've got options. So let's go to controls. Let's put this gain at, I think it might be at 100 on, I think I might have had it right at 100 on PC. So we'll set that at 100 and then we will see. Wait, is my freaking... I think my thing might actually be set to... Yeah, it's automatic, so we're going to set that to manual. Okay. Now let's see. Having it set to 100 does increase like the... Believe it or not, it actually does feel... Yeah, you're not getting the same resolution as you are on PC for some reason. Like you're not getting... That might just have to be with the FPS though. Let's see. We're coming up on that, like our first lap. That's the one we're really interested in looking at. That's what we're most interested in seeing. Because I mean, for the most part, like this feels. Having it set to 100 is actually does help make it feel a little bit closer to what the Are you kidding me? This thing is still set on freaking... How is it still set to automatic? Dude, alright, now we're coming up on our lap. Let's see. This is the one. So we're going to try to be... I'm going to try to be a little bit smoother with this. Yeah, it just doesn't roll as nicely as... And I am using the exact same wheel setup that I'm using on the PC, the Thrustmaster TX. Overall, it feels like you could still be just as smooth. So I mean, yeah, like I can feel some of this too. Maybe not as good as the PC, but I can definitely feel what's going on. It is a little bit harder to stay as smooth as the PC though, man. I find myself struggling a little bit to be smooth. But I mean that there could be more down to just frame rate, honestly. Because I've noticed a lot of racing games that I'm playing at higher frame rates, I tend to feel like it's a smoother experience. So that might be the one thing, but the 60 FPS is a must for this game. Like anything lower than the 60 is a bit tragic. You could be smooth with this, but it is a little bit more of a oh yeah, see, I'm not having these kind of issues on PC at all, like where I'm overshooting stuff and I'm gonna have to lock the PC version to 60 frames and try that. Because the 60, man, like, oh, I don't know. Once you go over the 60 frames a second mark, like things just start to instantly get better with the more frame you have. Because I feel like the higher frame rate gives you better refinement in the wheel setup. The higher the FPS goes, the higher the refinement in your driving setup is going to feel. Because that's kind of the way it feels to me. Like, this doesn't feel janky or anything, guys. It feels fine. Like, you can definitely drive this and enjoy this experience for real. Like I have for years been able to do this. But the difference that just that extra frame rate makes, that really does. See, look at this, man. Look at this. Ooh. I feel like you got to pay a lot more attention to what's going on. Like you can't. Like I can't just sit and chit chat and drive on this because like you miss something because yeah, I don't know. And you would think my muscle memory, because I was just driving this track on the PC, so I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? I feel like honestly most of it has to do with the frame rate. Most of it has to do with the frame rate. Still drivable, still playable. But I feel like this one here, you're going to have to... Once you get used to it, though, once you get used to it, I feel like you'll be better off. Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm feeling about it right now. This is actually looking really good on a 4K OLED too, man. I'm pretty happy with the results of this. Yeah, I mean, you could still pull off some pretty tight maneuvers on here, and it's still feeling pretty decent. Like it doesn't feel janky. It doesn't feel janky, but if you're not on it and making the right moves at the right time, it does kind of throw you off a little bit for sure. But for the most part, once you get into your groove, I think that's when this will ultimately you'll be able to be your best. Yeah, I feel like it's fine. I feel like the biggest difference so far is the FPS. Wheel feedback and all of that stuff is feeling pretty dang nice. Like I feel like I've got complete control now. I can feel everything that's going on. Like this is a good, this update's pretty decent. This does feel a lot better. Now that I'm getting used to the 60 FPS and I'm starting to feel that, I'm starting to be able to feel the wheel better too and react nicer to what's going on. Start pushing a little bit here and see. Whoa, no, stop pushing. Stop pushing. No. I do feel like there are things that don't feel as refined because that gosh man, that can't really just be the frame rate that's dropping that. That's dropping that much clarity or whatever. I've got a lot of laps on this on Spa, so I mean this is one of the ones that I feel a lot more comfortable, like really trying to push in certain spots. See, like right there, man. I normally I can take this at third and feel like I'm not. See, I feel like I could, like it would have been. I don't know, man. It's hard to explain. Like this is definitely 100% playable, but I feel like I make more mistakes on this than I do on the other build. Because I was sitting there just not yesterday, but the day before, and I was just doing some laps on Spa on the PC version, and I didn't have any of these problems, man. I wasn't finding like little issues where I would overshoot something or I would go off track or do something weird. It felt comfortable. But that was the other day. This is today. Who knows, man? I'm not always at the top of my game. But let's put this into perspective. The PC build that I'm using is a 3080 with a 5800X, clearly more powerful than the Xbox. I am using that. I have that maxed out at like epic settings and all of that stuff. I'm hitting around 100 up to 116 frames a second pretty consistently on track without any other cars. Just right here. That's why I'm doing this as, you know, kind of more like a like for like, you know, just doing like the time trial because that there is less stress on both the machines so you can get the highest consistent frames per second. If I was racing other cars, it would be a lot more dynamic on both. So I was trying to give them both their best shot. And yeah, I feel like this is. I feel like yeah. My main thing is the frame rate so far. That's the main thing because everything else you can feel. Like you can feel your car right here on the edge with that speed. Like you can feel it stick to the ground. You can feel the downforce like right through here. Yeah, you can feel that, and it's a lot nicer than this was at launch for sure. So here's so in conclusion of today's video, if you are a sim racer and you are in a position to where you can afford to go out and buy a high-end PC and be able to play these games at higher frame rates, cool, but that's literally what you're getting is frame rates because you don't really necessarily need like a super high-end PC to run this game at high settings, epic settings or whatever. I was running it just fine on the 3060 Ti at 1440p. I do believe that like the 3070 Ti or 3080 is going to be entry level 4K epic settings for this game, whereas the Series X is giving you a 4K image with 60 frames a second with fairly high settings. But the settings per game are different. Like the console version does not have like the same trees, vegetation, stuff like that. So there are some things that are different, but overall this is a very comparable experience to what you're getting on the PC now. So that's the video, man. In conclusion, I feel like if you are somebody, like I said, in conclusion, if you are somebody that can afford to go out and buy all that, cool, whatever, you're going to get a lot more frames and, you know, a little bit prettier picture. But if you're somebody that wants to get into sim racing on a budget and you're okay with the 60 FPS, yeah, this is perfectly fine. This is perfectly fine. Perfectly playable. I would like to see them give you the option for a 1080p 120 FPS mode on this though, or even 1440p if it could do a 1440p, or even just an unlocked frame rate. Unlocked frame rate would probably be the best, so that you could get every frame is going to give you better resolution in your steering wheel. Better resolution, better, you know, yeah, like every frame is gonna, every frame over 60 is gonna be a little better. So yeah, I would like to see an unlocked frame rate with VRR support. That would definitely help this experience even more on the console. So that's pretty much what I got to say about it, man. If you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.